Hello, friends and fellow neighbors, and welcome to a virtual edition of Live Like Fred, as I am coming to you from my deck in my home. But nonetheless, I am pleased to welcome a very special guest to Live Like Fred. As a high school student, she has done so much remarkable things in the community, as we are joined by Gianna Richason. Gianna, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. So let's get started, Gianna. So you do two things. You are involved with our friends at Beverly's birthdays, and you also started kind of like your own campaign called Grounds of Change. But how did you exactly get started with Beverly's birthdays?
Yeah, so it's kind of an interesting story. So all through middle school and when I was a freshman in high school, my entire life was volleyball. That's where if you would be looking for me, I was definitely on a volleyball court. That was my plan for my life. I wanted to play varsity volleyball in high school and then go play in college. And then when I graduated, I wanted to do something in the sports world and be a volleyball coach for a team. And that was the whole plan. And then my freshman year, everything just completely changed. I started to hate the sport. I would come into practice and I was so used to coming in so happy and so like ready to play. And I just couldn't stand it. I would watch the clock at practice and I was so ready to go home. And it was very weird. It was kind of just this like mental switch in my head that volleyball just wasn't my thing anymore. I had gone through a surgery where I got double jaw surgery. So they had to break my jaw, and it was for like 4 months. I couldn't play volleyball or eat or talk or do anything. So I think when I came out of that, I was just a different human being, and volleyball just wasn't a part of my story anymore. So one morning I woke up and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I texted my coaches and I quit volleyball, and I texted a lot of my volleyball friends and I was like, listen guys, I'm just not going to play anymore. And that same night I went to the Norwin Fair, and Norwin is the school district that Beverly's headquarters is in. And there was this big Beverly's painting that was all bright and colorful. And I was like, what is this place? It was so bright. I loved it. So I went home that night and I looked up Beverly's birthdays and I found it. I fell in love with their story. So the next day woke up, called Alyssa, and the next day I started going into Beverly's, and I just would go for 2 hours on Mondays and Wednesdays that entire summer. And then I was so used to playing sports every day after school that I needed something to fill that. So I would just start going to Beverly's every single day after school. So
What did you do at Beverly's when you started?
So cool, yeah. So they were launching the Beverly's Boutique program right when I started going to Beverly's. So they had just gotten their first big delivery of like hundreds of boxes of clothing. So the first thing I did was just go through those clothing with the boutique intern at the time. And then I was actually lucky enough to, when the boutique went to its first party, it was actually my first Beverly's party ever too. So I've kind of got to grow up through Beverly's with the birthday boutique. So yeah.
Yeah, so now you have been involved with Beverly's for a while now, and can you maybe tell us a little bit about like the programs and the fundraisers you started? You were like in charge with at Beverly's birthdays, am I correct?
Yeah. So I haven't started any of their programs, but like I said, the boutique was kind of launching when I came into Beverly's. So I've got to be able to work really closely with that truck over the past years. So what the boutique is if you don't know, it's this mobile fashion truck full of brand new clothing. And when we go to the birthday parties, the birthday kiddos get to come on and pick out 3 or 4 new outfits and then get pajamas, socks, and underwear. So like when it launched, they have a Beverly person who shops with the kids. Her name was Marie at the time. She was the first ever main shopper with the kiddos, and I kind of was Marie's little assistant for a year. And then this year I got to take over Marie's position. So now at all the birthday parties, when the kiddos shop on the truck, I get to shop with them. But for fundraising side, I have done one fundraiser for Beverly's, and that was this December. It was called Jingles and Jammies, and basically it was a 3-hour donut breakfast with a bunch of it. It had around 150 high school students, and I just told my friends, I was like, listen, come in a pair of pajamas and bring a pair of pajamas to donate to Beverly's, and we'll just sit there for 3 hours, listen to music, and eat donuts and kind of just celebrate Beverly's. And kids actually showed up, which was really exciting. And yeah, so about 150 high schoolers from my high school, Hempfield, came, and we raised about 350 pairs of pajamas for Beverly's. So yeah.
Oh, wow, that is awesome knowing that you did that as a high school student. I couldn't have imagined myself doing that when I was in high school. So what is your position at Beverly's birthdays now?
Yeah, so I'm like a programming assistant, and I help get the boutique ready when it goes to the parties, and then I shop with the birthday kiddos at the birthday parties. So yeah.
Okay, so I want to shift gears a little bit. So, was it earlier this year you received the Mikey Involved Spectacular Super Special Standout Student Award? I think I got that right. How? What did it mean to you when you received that award?
Wow. So first thing, Mikey and Bob are literally the two best people ever. It was incredible well, it's kind of from a different side, not even me receiving it. I think it was really awesome that they started an award about community service in high school. There are so many scholarships for athletic and academic reasons, but you don't really find a lot of community service stuff. So I thought it was really cool that they launched something that they were going from high school to high school every month, just celebrating and giving back to people. So I think what meant to me, what was so cool, having two guys who are like celebrities in Pittsburgh come to my high school and share to my class just how awesome giving back is and community service is. And it was cool because I got to talk to my class and kind of thank them. A lot of them, I really think that there's 500 other kids in my class that could receive that same award. This year, I've kind of gone a little crazy with community service in my high school, and we have like 7 different homerooms. And I, at least once a week, would be walking to the homeroom announcing something that I wanted them to help me with. And every single person would take their headphones out, stop what they were doing, look up, and say that they wanted to help. So I think it was just cool for once having someone come in and just celebrate that movement in our high school. So
Oh, wow, wow, that is so extraordinary, Gianna. I love that. So I want to shift gears now to Grounds of Change. So can you maybe explain the purpose of it and why did you start it?
yeah, so the story that I tell for Grounds of Change is when I first started working at Beverly's, I carpooled with Megs, the founder, down to a birthday party. And we live around 30 to 45 minutes outside of the city, so usually we like jump in the car with each other and ride down together. And it was just me and Megs in the car, and I remember she kind of told me her whole story in that car ride, basically from, I was 15 at the time, from when she was 15 to graduating high school to going out to found Beverly's. And I got home and I thought to myself, I was like, wow, like, the beginning of Meg's story isn't that different from mine. She had geometry class and she ran for student government and things like that. And then she went out to graduate and go make such an impact. If she can do that, so can I, and so can all of these kids I'm going to school with. So I set out to have 100 more of those car ride conversations with people. So I made this master list. My first list was just 100 people from across the country that have done something amazing. And I wrote them a letter that basically said, hi, I'm Gianna. I'm a 16-year-old from Pittsburgh, and could we just FaceTime and talk about your story from high school to now? And people actually answered, which was so exciting. So for the past 9 months, I've been FaceTiming nonprofit founders or people doing amazing things and hearing that same Meg's car ride story. And then I go back, listen to it, and I write up a blog about it on my website, Grounds of Change. So yeah.
Are all the people local or national?
Most of them are national. A lot of them have been from California. That seems to be a nonprofit kind of hub, but they've just been all across America, basically.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And what is your favorite thing about like being in Grounds of Change and also just volunteering in general?
For Grounds of Change, I love talking to people and I love hearing stories. And I think it's been so amazing that, just to hear that these people, like, it's from people that are working in hospitals or people that are working with homeless communities or helping animals, all of them, I think were put on this planet for that exact reason. And when you listen to them, you just hear, you're like, wow, like, it makes you want to give back to someone. It's never really, their story is never really about them. It's all about what they're doing for others. And I think my favorite thing about volunteering is just when you're there, it's never about me, me, me. In high school, we kind of are trained to think about us all the time. It's all about our futures. What are we going to do? What's our plan? How are you doing in this class? La, la, la. But I remember when I went to Beverly's for the first time, it was literally like the North Pole in real life. Like, everyone just has their minds on other people. It's all about giving back to others. And I think it's so healthy to just be in that kind of environment. And I think that's my favorite part, just the people you're surrounded with. So, yeah.
How many people have you interviewed for Grounds of Change? Do you have
Oh, yeah. So I have 47 interviews posted to my blog, and I think I've interviewed 73 people. So, yeah.
Oh, so you're almost there.
Yeah, we're on our way.
So, how does it feel to know that you have done just so many amazing things in the community as just a high school student?
So I always talk about how this is kind of like my high school sport. A lot of my friends, they play soccer or they swim and stuff like that. And this is just the thing that I find so much joy in. But I think my favorite part of all of this is kind of proving that my generation's kind of got this. I think that my friends, like I said, like when I would go to the homerooms and talk about some kind of charity thing, everyone would take out their headphones, they would look up, and then they'd raise their hand to get involved. And I think the thing is kind of proving that if you ask someone to help someone else, they're gonna say yes 9 times out of 10, and they'll probably go above and beyond with helping that person too. So I think it's just felt really good to be able to kind of show people that not just me, but kind of all the kids in my high school can help others and can give back, and that this world's a scary place, but there's a lot of light in it, and a lot of them are high school students. So yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. I love that. And so what does it mean to you to live like Fred?
So I think it's just treating people with kindness. I think my in my life, my Fred that I look up to is Megs, and I don't think you've met Megs and you know she never treats anyone differently. She's always energy levels at 10, and so is her kindness level. And I think it's just walking around and every single person you meet treating them with kindness, and that none of us are really that different, and that we all deserve the chance. Everyone deserves the chance to hear their story and to tell their story. And I think it's just that, listening to stories and being kind to others. So yeah,
I could not agree more on being kind to others, and also with Migs, you are absolutely
the best.
that. So our final question for you, Gianna, is our I guess our trademark question that we asked to live like Fred. So what makes a snappy new day for Gianna?
I think it's always starting the day with some coffee. It's one of the things Grounds of Change also started with, was the grounds part is literally means coffee. But I think also just surrounded by people. I love going to school. I love just hearing everyone's story. Just when I sit in class, every year when a new year starts, my first thing is, who do I not know in this classroom, and like how can I get to know them? And so that's one version of it. Another version is so when this whole quarantine thing started, I couldn't go to Beverly's for a couple weeks, and I got to start going back about 2 weeks ago. And I think that is one of my snappy new days, is just being surrounded by those people and being at Beverly's, and just like I said, being surrounded by people that giving back is the number one thing in their mind. So yeah.
All right, that is awesome. Well, Gianna, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be with us. We will make sure to put some links down below for Grounds of Change, and also for Beverly's birthdays, if you would like to check those out. So Gianna, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to be with us.
Yeah, thank you.